hold on to your caboose, because the juice is loose. After 4 days on vacation, Bitcoin trades at the exact same price that it was back then. But in the meantime, Bitcoin has been dumped, pumped, milked, and dilfed. But after all this rumpage, Bitcoin maintained its previous low by mere inches. But the question now, after such a devastating dumpage, will the bulls respond with a blast from the past? This chart is guaranteed to make you squeal like you've never squealed before. Your host Simon Sissypants, and they say if you look away for Bitcoin for even one day, your portfolio will get dumped on more than me on a typical Friday night. Holy macaroni, the bears have absolutely put one too many fingers in the hopes of the bulls, but a new day approaches, as it seems as though this move to the downside has come to a completion. And as we've been seeing over the past few months, it does end up being a little bit lower than we all expect. However, not as low as many of the bulls expect. And in fact, something absolutely major has happened on these charts, and you have absolutely got to dump in. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn the screen to these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And without a further ado, let's jump in. Oh, so before we jump into Bitcoin chart, guys, we can see here on Bitfinex, Bitcoin shorts have been absolutely dumped. And you can see there was absolutely massive shorts just about a week or so ago, and they've come down back to reality as Bitcoin dominance continues to kind of trade above that 45% level. The DXY also not really pumping over the last week. In fact, it's been dumping all week since it did open this week. And as well, we have the SPX yet again today, setting another new all-time high. When will it end? But overall, stock market pumpiness is good for Bitcoin. So guys, if we take a look here, I was actually gone for a few days. I did not have anything to make a video. I tweeted about it a lot, but I got a lot of comments of people wondering like, oh, good golly, is Tyler running and hiding in fear? Yes, absolutely. But also, if we take a look on this daily chart, what has happened in the last few days? Well, as it turns out, in fact, we did get an absolutely massive dirty dumpage with that absolutely devastating candle turning actually into a green candle, which is pretty interesting. But an absolutely very big mega wick down to right about 28,800. Literally about $100 above the low set back on May 19th, which is absolutely astounding. Guys, and before we go any further here, again, as we were saying leading up to this dump, literally since June 15th, saying, okay, it's the bears' turn to, break through some of these levels. Again, we were talking about these two levels to hold for support. And, as we have seen with Bitcoin over the last month, it did go below those supports, which is, again, pretty devastating. It broke both of those key levels of support and actually went substantially below them. Currently, it's, if we just extend this out, just trying to test this now, it's resistance now because it was support. We were building it up over an entire month, and now it's resistance. So that's really big. Now the bulls have, a disadvantage yet again, where the bears did push it pretty low. But again, I'm a little unimpressed with the bears. For over an entire month now, the bears have been screaming 20K incoming, 15K incoming, 10K incoming. Currently, the bottom remains, guys. Back on May 19th, over a month now, this is still the bottom. So with that being said, even though the price got pushed down past some pretty nice supports, when that happens, when these supports break, that is absolutely when you would then expect, okay, this is going to get very dumpy and it's going to get very bearish. And it got very bearish, but it did not get bearish enough. And what does that tell me? It tells me that still, the bears still don't have that much strength. Again, it was dumpier than expected, but here's the old trickaroo. On some exchanges, it actually did slightly break below, about $100 or so below that low. So on Gemini, it went to like the 28,000s. On Bitfinex, it was in the 29,000s. On Bittrex, it was in the 29,000s. On let's take a look at on Coinbase, it was in the 28,000s. Bitstamp, it was in the 28,000s. So as you can see on this chart, on some of these charts, it actually did set a new low. But as well, I think that's where a lot of people are talking about the wick off spring phase, where it goes like slightly below that. And again, the wick off has been the talk of the town for the past like 2 months. And I mean, from everything I've seen from other analysts and other technical analysis about this, it still looks to be playing out exactly. So even though, on this chart, it didn't set a new low, on some of these charts, it actually did set a new low. Either way, I'm not incredibly impressed by what exactly happened. In fact, the very next day was let's take a look at this, 15% upside candle. And over the last 3 days, it has gone up over 20% since that bounce. Again, confirming some pretty nice bounciness on this chart as well. This was the second highest volume in the past month and a half. First was on May 19th, and then this here. So again, confirming that the bulls have, have a chance to do a lot of work here. Again, breaking the 21 daily moving average and holding that is absolutely key, and that's 36,000. Remains to be seen. But again, I think over the next few days, we're going to be at least giving it an attempt here on this daily chart as well. We're still trading within this falling channel or descending channel here. Daily close within, even though we went a little bit below, it's important to look at the actual time frames and the actual candles. On the daily chart, the low is about 32,000. Okay, so we had these dailies close exactly on this within this descending channel we've been talking about for about 2 weeks now. And as well, you see, we can even, I guess, just extend this, something we've had on here for a while. On the 6-hour chart, it kind of bounced right at the bottom, also where these fettuccine levels are, right about here. But as well, if we go to these shorter time frames, this is, again, one of the things we look for the bottom, or for the switcheroo to now get bullish. And we had this bullish cross here. Currently, Bitcoin has been maintaining both the 21 and 50 moving average on the 1-hour chart. And if we go to the 4-hour chart as well, Bitcoin is currently above the 21, approaching the 50, right around 35,000. So again, Bitcoin has a lot of work to do. Right now, the bears have the advantage, obviously. This is more bearish than bullish right now, but what I personally think is going to happen is the bulls are going to get their chance, like we've seen dozens and dozens of times over the past month. Okay, bearish move to the downside, then bulls take control, bears take back control, bulls take control, and it's about like a weekly battle each time. So bears get it for a week, then the bulls get it for a week, bears, bulls, bears, and now I think the bulls have their chance to try and flip this again. Either way, I think the momentum for the next few days is probably going to be bullish. But again, big things are just the very obvious things, breaking the 21 again, breaking back above 36. Overall, though, I am pretty impressed of how Bitcoin is, for the most part, maintaining that $30,000 level. But as well, this will be a long process. We see the MACD kind of, you see the momentum kind of, it wants to kind of curve back up here. This was absolutely devastating back on April 19th. We got this cross. And actually back on April 19th, we were saying, okay, this is going to be a bearish move. But again, I was wrong in the fact that I personally did not think that it would be this prolonged and this dumpy. Okay, because we were calling for a dumpy move back here. We ended up getting this move, and then right around here, I was correct here, and I ended up being a little wrong here about this move. The move definitely became a much longer-term move, and I guess looking on some of these longer-term charts, especially the weekly, like the MACD here, the weekly RSI as well, weekly moving averages. But looking back in retrospect, Bitcoin was in store for some long-term dumpiness, and the biggest factor right now is time. Again, I personally still don't think that we're going to be going much lower than we currently are. I still think 30,000, whether we, we drop another $1,000 or $2, I personally don't think it matters that much, especially if you're going to be in Bitcoin for at least 3 to 6 more months. Then again, this won't really matter too much, but the big factor here is time. And time is what is the biggest thing, I think, beating people down. Not necessarily that we're going to keep crashing down to 20K and then 15. Again, I don't think that's likely, but time is the factor in the sense that I think that even if Bitcoin starts to reverse, it's going to continue to take time, at the very least, 1 to 2, maybe 3, 4 more weeks, but more likely it probably will be at least 3 to 4 or even more weeks to really turn around. Oh, so if you guys are new channel, make sure to like, subscribe, give me some absolutely time-sensitive alerts. But without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.